The following video is not made for kids under 13. If you are not 13 years old, please exit out of the video now. And please, YouTube, do not sue me. Hey guys, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back with a new What If series called What If Izuku Was the Reincarnation of Noctis? Basically, Noctis, the main protagonist of Final Fantasy 15. I know this is weird that I'm doing another Final Fantasy What If, even though I haven't finished What If, Izuku had Cloud's powers, which I'll explain in a bit. The reason I'm choosing this What If is because I've been playing Final Fantasy 15 for a while, and originally I used to hate the game, but after playing the DLC stories, I've actually grown to love it quite a bit. So, I wanted to make a What If based on what if Izuku had Noctis' abilities and was his reincarnation at the end of the game. The reason I say this is because, if the title of the video doesn't say anything, then those who haven't played the game or haven't even beaten it, Noctis dies at the end after defeating the main antagonist Arden. And not only that, the Lucius line ends with him, with no one else being king. The reason why he dies and kills himself basically is because of Arden himself. Basically being a scapegoat and was nothing but a sacrificial pawn to the so-called gods of Final Fantasy 15. Originally supposed to be the main hero, but betrayed by his brother and also by the gods, and became the main antagonist of the series, causing Noctis to make things right by killing himself and ending the bloodline. So yeah, in this What If, Noctis is reincarnated into the world of My Hero Academia, and his vessel being Izuku. The reason being him being quirkless, and him having no power whatsoever. Knowing this, the gods gave Noctis a second chance of life. So, that's it. Let's get into this. Just like in canon, Izuku is born July 15th in the world of My Hero Academia. However, the only distinct difference being his hair is not like a dark greenish color. It's actually pure black, just like his reincarnation Noctis, his past life Noctis. Not only that, he also hates mornings more than anything, so he ends up waking up late, just like how Noctis is anyway. Also, as a kid, just like the original Izuku, he looks up to heroes a lot. Actually, looks up to heroes quite a bit. However, his inspiration isn't All Might or any other heroes. He just sees heroes as more of an outlet of wanting to be just to do the right thing and help people. Even though he gets in. Also, his relationship with Bakugo is kind of similar in canon, but the only difference being Izuku doesn't like to deal with Bakugo's arrogance and arguing. And not only that, he does stand up for himself as well. However, there's only one problem. Just like in canon, he's quirkless. He has no quirk whatsoever. Because of this, his life is shattered. But him being quirkless, it doesn't really bother him. It doesn't really mess him up anyway. He still believes in his dream of becoming a hero in the future. Not only that, even though Bakugo and everyone else in his class treats him like he's an outcast now due to him not having a quirk, he still doesn't let it bother him. And his mom even cheers him on to become a hero. Just like Noctis, Izuku does have, daddy issues. The reason being his father, Asashi, always working outside and doesn't really come home and rarely comes home. So, yeah. Izuku doesn't really have a good relationship with his father whatsoever. Or better yet, he doesn't really care about him that much at all. So, yeah. But as for Izuku, he actually takes a liking into weapons and fighting. It's mostly using swords. For some reason, he always, when he sees a person wielding a sword, he can't help but admire them, and is basically dazed on how they swing or what kind of stance they fight with. So he begs his mom to take him to, do kendo training, and not only that, not just kendo, but also using spears and lances, daggers, some even axes and many other weapons too. He buys a wooden sword to train, and not just a regular wooden sword, a katana, a giant wooden sword, some small short sword daggers, and a spear, a training bow staff, and many other weapons too, and learns how to fight with them easily. As for his relationship at school, he's kind of a bit of a loner. People still keep their distance from him due to him being quirkless, and they do talk behind his back, but he doesn't let it bother him. If anything, he knows who he is, and he knows what he's striving for. As for Bakugo, he still treats him like shit and tells him not to dream of becoming a hero. However, Izuku is no pushover. Whatever Bakugo makes a threat to him or anything like that, Izuku just doesn't let it bother him and just moves on and keeps focusing on just himself. If you guys know, in the anime of Final Fantasy XV Brotherhood, Noctis was a bit of a loner due to his status as royalty and not really much of a talkative person due to certain key events that kind of ruined his life. Which I won't go into details because I don't want this video to be any longer, and I'm going off script anyway. But until one certain day, when he's in his second year in junior high, he basically his class is gone to, a museum. It's basically showing of natural history such as certain other countries, Japan's culture, and even ancient weaponry. Izuku is hyped to see multiple weapons and gear, and even knight armors too. And is inspired by how they look and their design. As everyone is shocked seeing Izuku actually light up for once and is actually passionate about something that isn't just heroes. But once again, they still keep their distance. As soon after, they arrive at a hall with tons of weapons and gear, tons of weapons everywhere. These weapons, as the display, it tells on how these weapons just showed up in the middle of nowhere, in the outskirts of the city, in a circle. 14 weapons, different types, in different forms and different styles, from other countries, and one sword being katana as well. As Izuku sees these weapons, he has a vision saying, "I've seen these before, haven't I?" As he touched the glass, he soon starts screaming in pain and agony, wondering what the hell is happening. My head is killing me. As he soon screams from the top of his lungs. All the weapons that were in the glass display basically come out, shining a pure white, and soon all 14 weapons soon go inside Izuku. Soon after, all of them are shown around Izuku, with looking like glass crystals. As their teacher and almost everybody in their class see this. Soon after, Izuku's eyes have been glowing green, and soon passes out, wondering what's happened. And then Bakugo wondering, what the hell did Deku just do? Did he just awaken his quirk or something? No, there's no way he would. After that, soon after, Izuku wakes up, finding out that he's in the hospital and there with his mother as well. After that, he begins thinking, what the hell happened? Mom, what are you doing here? As she explained that he passed out after what happened in the museum. As she asks what his side was, being he just touched the glass, and soon after his head started hurting like crazy. Soon after that, he doesn't know what happened afterwards. As two police officers soon come in and ask Izuku's mother to leave. Soon after, they ask Izuku tons of questions, such as what happened to the weapons, and why did he take them? As Izuku begins freaking out, telling him that he didn't take the weapons, as he doesn't know what happened to them. As they soon bring up a phone showing the security cameras about what happened. As Izuku touches it and soon shows and saying everything as before, and soon passing out. As Izuku saying, did I take the weapons? I didn't. What happened? As he begins freaking out like crazy, and then his head starts hurting, and soon feels like he's gonna pass out from the pain. Wondering, as the two police officers sees this, they call in a nurse and a doctor to check and see on him, as they tell him that he only just passed out from a huge strain, from a huge sense of stress. As the doctor began thinking, it's possible that he's a late bloomer, and those weapons might have reacted to his quirk. We have no idea what his quirk really is, so we may have to take tests before releasing him, or if he's even able to give those weapons back at all. Soon after, while passed out, Izuku's inside of his mind, floating, as he basically sees nothing but green and blue and light blue lines floating all around him, as he's wondering what's going on. On the other side, being the blue side, he sees another figure in front of him, looking almost in his the person looks like he's in his early 20s, as he says, "You're me, aren't you? The other me." As Izuku says, who are you? And what do you mean by other you? Soon after, the figure begins glowing blue, and soon shows himself, as he has the same black hair as Izuku, and almost looks like him too, but without the freckles. And not only that, his eyes are also light blue instead of green, as he says, "My name is Noctis Lucius Calum, and I'm you, and you're me." As Izuku freaks out, wondering what you mean by you're me and I'm you. As he tells him, "I'm the reincarnation, you're my reincarnation. And now you can live the way you are. You have my power, the power of a king." As Izuku hears this, wondering what's happening, soon after, Noctis soon glows white, turns into an orb, and soon rushes at Izuku. After this, Izuku's eyes glow green, as something that of a sword, with the guard having that of an engine, starts showing itself in his mind. Soon after, he wakes up in the hospital, as he begins seeing so many things, memories that aren't his, and realize he was right. The reincarnation of another person. As the doctor saying, "Izuku Midoriya, are you okay?" As he says, "Yeah, fine. I'm perfectly fine. After that, Izuku began going through multiple tests as he shows all the weapons that he took, which basically are nothing but that look like glass crystals. As many of the doctors try to touch the weapons, but they can't, as their hands just phasing through. However, Izuku's able to bring out these weapons easily, without even trying. Not only that, he can't even give the weapons to anybody. They come right back to him instead. As the doctors began thinking that all the weapons from the museum are part of Izuku now, and that he can't give them out whatsoever. However, the reasons being he can't get those weapons out because they are the royal arms of the past kings. And they're part of Izuku, since he is the reincarnation of Noctis, since he is part of the kings. As for Izuku, he's basically let off. As for all the weapons at the museum, they're just gonna have to show a different display instead, because Izuku cannot give them back at all. Soon after after testing the next couple of days, Izuku's gone back to school and is getting quite a bit of looks, saying that Izuku stole all those weapons and took them for himself. As many people in the school say that he stole them like a villain would, as Izuku just doesn't really care. Once again, he knows what happened. He knows on who he is. And not only that, he knows all those weapons belong to him in the first place. So he has no right to give them back to him, since they were originally meant for him, meant for a king. As for Bakugo, he's kind of pissed off that Izuku just awakened his quirk just like that, as he realized that he has a pretty cool quirk to able to take things without even trying, but that's not really his quirk. His quirk is kind of like an arsenal. He can store weapons inside of him and bring them out anytime he wants, as Izuku, just like Noctis' abilities. However, Izuku is only restricted to 4 weapons. He can't use all the weapons that he wants. He only uses the 4 royal arms. As his specialty mostly revolves around using swords, great swords, and spears and daggers. So yeah, he doesn't use any other weapons than those. When he tests out most of the royal arms, he realized that half of the weaponry of those swords are basically on the same level as being hit by 50 semi trucks when swinging the blades on his own. Realizing that the royal arms are too dangerous to use, he decides to try and get his own weapons. Not only that, over time, he even began learning how to use the warp strike by using wooden swords and then teleporting to them once throwing them. He figured this out while he was training in kendo practice. When he almost lost his sword, he was able to grab it at the last minute and was able to win the match, realizing that he can warp strike, as Noctis tells him that that's what it's called. Soon after, he even realized, not only that, when Bakugo was threatening somebody and planned on threatening Izuku, he tried shooting an explosion right at Izuku, but Izuku was able to absorb it, since his explosions are kind of considered as fire anyway, a fire-based ability anyway. So, and if you guys know, Noctis is able to absorb the elements being fire, lightning, and ice. So with that, Izuku is basically has the magic absorption ability. But in this case, it's basically an elemental quirk absorption ability. So yeah, as people think that he's now able to absorb, he's basically the most powerful person in the entire middle school. As Izuku doesn't really care about that. He just wants to become a hero. A couple years later, before the end of his second year in junior high, he soon begins thinking of All Might, that he may be the symbol of peace, but heroes are free to do whatever they want. They're too lazy. They don't know. Who knows when the next big threat may come along? People need a leader, not just a symbol. So, I think it's time. So I decided I'll become the #1 hero. Not just to become a symbol, but also a leader as well. The next that all generations can look back on as the person that changed hero society for the better. As he reaches his hand in the night sky and says, "I will become the world's greatest hero. That I promise. I swear it on my past lives." And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, because I probably won't be making part 2 no time soon. I'm sorry guys, there's still too many what if series I need to finish before starting a new one. But if you guys like this, I may try doing this as I might do this more often than anything. However, I may have to shaft a project or two just to get you guys this parts out instead. But if you guys like this, please comment below, tell me what you guys think. Also like and subscribe, which helps out my channel. Second notion, I'm planning for the next part. I plan on thinking on the certain people who would be, well, Izuku's closest best friends, like how Gladio, Procto, and Ignis was basically Noctis' brothers in Final Fantasy 15. If you guys have a role of those three on who would be those three, tell me guys in the comments below, because I would love to hear. Any rate, this is Leon Mookie signing out. Later.